Hello. 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 We're live. How you doing? All right. All right. You guys in the back, we need to come on in. If you're in the back, come on in, sit down. Hey, young lady. How you doing? Good to see you.
Howdy do.
You guys on the side, we need to filter you on in.
Shh. I haven't seen y'all in forever. Shh. Everybody say it together.
All right. You loud talker in the back, we need you down here. All right.
In or out? In or out?
In or out?
Sir.
Come on, guys. Networking out there, sit down in here, please.
Anybody got one of these they want to turn in? I'll take it. Or if you can drop it off at the Jet or Renter's Warehouse
let's
table.
Filter in, or we'll. Yep. All right, there you go. All right. How y'all doing tonight? Good. How was the food? I didn't get a chance to taste it. How was it?
Oh, yeah.
How's the free beer?
Drunk Mark. I'm going to put it at the bottom.
Was it okay too? All right. Where you at, Richard? Oh, there you are.
I'm picking up papers.
You're going to give away
We're going to give away a TV tonight.
Huh? All right. Thank you.
All right.
The TV, courtesy of Richard Drake and Renter's Warehouse.
And Jet Lending. Oh, you're paying for half.
Well, we pay for the cord.
And he'll pay for the Netflix for the next 10 years.
Can y'all believe the year next month will be half over? Can you believe it? My goodness. Anybody get any rain on their yard this week? My goodness. Lightning, Rich, I not even told you this. Lightning hit really close to my house at 3:30 a.m. Sunday morning. I swear, y'all, I came that high off that bed. Knocked out one refrigerator, one freezer, lost my deer meat. Oh, yeah, but she'll be all right, though. She's out there in the hall. Out there. I don't care who you are. That's funny, wasn't it? That's funny.
It wasn't that funny, Eddie.
It was too. David, she laughed. Right. She laughed right here.
You know, I tell dad jokes every once in a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes he even laughs.
Yeah, there you go. You got to do something with this here thing here, Andy. Where you at? This thing ain't working here. All right.
That was funny.
I'm Eddie Gant with Jet Lending. This is.
I'm Rich over at Renter's Warehouse.
Renter's Warehouse.
Same as last month.
Thank y'all for being here. How many was here last month? All right. How many first timers in the house tonight? All right. Look at that. All right. You got a pretty good crew of first timers.
Who's ever been here? Repeat offenders. Ever.
All right.
There you go. I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah. Third Wednesday, free beer, free wine, free food, free somebody's giving technical presentation. So here we are. Thank you for being here. How many of you go all the way back to the Redneck Republic Country Club out in, there you go.
That was a good spot, wasn't it?
How many of you go back to Texans Grill?
Now we're talking.
That's pretty good. How many of you go back to SRO? Oh, there you, man.
Wow.
Wow. You know, that
was back when it was about 2 tables worth.
Yeah. We've only had this meeting at a couple spots. So, Rich, what's on our agenda tonight? What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I can't read. Well, we're going to do a couple presentations. We're going to let a couple of vendors talk, kind of get you to know what they do and how they do it. And then Eddie's going to give us the numbers. He's going to take you from being a freshman right out of high school all the way through grad school on the numbers.
I mean, how many of you want to hear me talk arithmetic? How many of you are math majors? All right, I'm going to lose you. I'm going to lose you in that one. We need these 3 vendors, or 2 or 3 vendors that's going to come in.
I see James over here.
We got 2 or 3 vendors. Then we got a little pitch by Renter's Warehouse. We got a little pitch by Jet Lending to pay our bills, the vendors, and then a good news or bad news, you got me for 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, good.
And
I consider that bad news.
That might be bad news, but we're going to...
I got one super tip today.
Tell me.
All right. If anybody wants the list, email me, Rich at Renter's Warehouse. But we came across some info. How many people know about QR codes? They really got kicked up during the pandemic, right? The restaurants, you do your menu. How many people have ever paid a bill on a QR code? Be very, 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 very careful. That's the new thing. They're putting stickers over the QR code in public, or the QR code that you got doesn't take you to the website you think it does. If you're downloading an app, you click on that QR code and it pops up. Maybe just look at the name of the app or know what you want. Go straight to the app store and download it and avoid that. Because what they're doing is they're grabbing your credit card number, your bank account numbers, or whatever it is, by having fake QR codes. And I have a top 10 list of the ways people are scamming with them. If y'all want it, Rich at Renter's Warehouse. Guys, this is big. We send it out to all of our owners and all of our tenants. Anybody that has notes, tenants, customers, you need to get this data out to them. And just so y'all know, neither Renter's Warehouse nor Jet Lending will ever ask you for money through a QR code. We don't do that. So if you get a bill from us, we need to know right away so we can get on top of the fraud.
He's right. He's right. I won't ask for money through a QR code. I'll just ask for some money. Clark, you got some money?
Well, you got
a little bit.
No, that's the wrong guy. He don't have any.
I'll just come ask for the money. All right, but I will say this.
It was recent, though.
Rich, I'm glad you brought that up. Truly, I am. 'Cause I've not heard that. But I will tell you this. National Mortgage News today had a big email out, which I am not a fan of National Mortgage News. But it was talking about fraud on the rise. But I will tell you this, and this is no BS. In the last 60 days, Jet Lending was the victim of an almost fraud of, this is what happened. They did it on payroll. They did I got a loan officer here named Josh. Josh has Josh at Jet Lending. The email came from Josh R at Jet, J-E-T-T. Slightly changed it to our bookkeeper, Rachel, said, change my payroll deposit to this account. And we had 2 of those in the last 60 days, y'all. So the point being, you talking QR codes that brought that to my mind.
I sent an email to one of my employees. It wasn't me sending the email. And luckily, my employee emailed me separately and said, hey, Rich, just want to verify where you wanted me to send this $20,000 wire.
Yeah.
I go, no idea what you're talking about. And I tell you what, the from email was my damn email. Somehow they spoofed it, and it was my email. Yeah. But it wasn't the way I talk.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy, huh? Okay. All right. We got Mark coming up for renters. Is that correct? Then Alex coming up from Jet. We got 2 or 3 vendors. And then you guys are mine for about an hour. And I'm going to bore you to death or excite you out of your britches on this real estate investment arithmetic.
Eddie, math don't get people's britches off. It ain't math.
Yeah, it will. Arithmetic.
You got to be smooth with your math.
I'm like silk.
All right.
All right. Mark Zimmerman, it's yours, buddy.
Thank you.
Marky Mark.
Hey, all right. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Rich. And thanks for everybody being here tonight. It looks like about half the house from your hands are new folks, and the other are repeat offenders. So we really appreciate those of y'all that come back. And those of y'all are new, I hope you get a little something out of all this fun tonight, other than the free beer, free wine, and free food, which is why I'm here. So anyway, perfect little discussion about Renter's Warehouse tonight. Usually I talk about something else, but I'm glad about half the room's new because I want to talk a little bit about what we do in terms of Renter's Warehouse Houston. So let's go through that real quick if I can get the thing to go. Let's see, here we go. He's not working. Can you go in advance for me? Yay, all right. So, get it going? Thank you. Beautiful. All right. So what do we do? Renters Warehouse Houston. Renters Warehouse Houston. Yes, we are co-hosts on this event. We've been teamed with Jet Lending now for 10 plus years. But what do we do other than just buy beer and bore you up here? So really, it's pretty simple. There's really 5 things that I think that we do that you might be interested in. Number 1 is that we help you buy property. So if someone is looking for investment property, we're a licensed brokerage, and that's what we do. We're investor friendly. Rich has bought over 1,700 houses wherever he is. I've bought over 400. We are an investor first, landlord first brokerage. So that's kind of what we do with our agents. So they'll be able to speak to you investor terms and not just put you into a homestead. So if you're looking for investment property, we always have opportunities. Sometimes our clients that have rental properties in place want to sell, and so we'll always send those out to our folks first to buy a ready-to-go turnkey rental property as well. So we help you buy property. That's the first thing, and I've actually bought a few of those in my life. But the other thing that we do is that we help you find a great tenant, right? I've spoken over the last 22 years to a lot of people that have talked about how they hate rental property and they hate being a landlord. And every single time I've asked, why did you hate it? What do you think the number 1 reason why they hated being a landlord on their first try was? The tenant. That's exactly right. The tenant, the resident. I mean, that person, that tenant is going to make or break you and is going to decide your future in terms of whether you ever buy another rental property. And usually it's because they didn't do background checks. They didn't call the previous landlord. I didn't say the current landlord, the previous landlord. Sometimes the current landlord will actually tell you they're great because they want them out of the property, right? So they're like, oh, they're fantastic. They're great. I'd rent to them. Call the one before and see what they say. So we do a lot of things in terms of running background checks, credit reports, criminal reports, global terrorists, pedophile, the whole 9 yards to really screen our clients. We also, our tenants, we also have technology where we'll look in their bank account. It's a soft look through Plaid, if you guys know what that is. And we'll see that the amount that they say they make is actually what's being deposited in their bank account with a little soft look. So we do a lot of things to make sure that the tenant, is a good tenant coming in. And one of the things to walk, which some of y'all know because you've heard me talk before that I think is big, is that we guarantee every tenant that we place. So if that tenant turns out to be not a great tenant, even though we thought they were and they passed all the check boxes, we'll actually put another tenant in for free and not charge you a commission. I don't really know any other brokerages that will do that. They'll charge you another commission, they'll act like they're sad, but they're happy to make, that next commission. So that's something that we do to as far as number 2, the second thing that we like to do in terms of property management and leasing. The other thing is we, of course, manage your rental property. And this one made me laugh about, what people think we do in terms of what we actually do. But we manage your rental property. So for any of y'all that are landlords, you know that there's things like I talked about earlier at our booth that pipes never break at midnight, at like 2 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon, right? They always break midnight Saturday night. So we're going to be there to take that load off of you. We're there to collect the rent and push the tenant along if they're paying late. But what I always like to say is these 2 things that maybe give you a little push is 1, our cost of property management's a flat fee and it works out to be a little under $5 a day. It's like a Starbucks coffee. So we're trying to make it affordable for landlords to use us so that way we can get your business. The other thing that we do, and you've heard me talk about it last month, and that is we do a 90-day test drive. So if you try us for 90 days on the management side and you think we're horrible, just fire us and we'll give you all your management fees back. So you actually have no financial risk if it doesn't work out. So as you can see, Rich and I are trying to give people reasons to try us because we do feel like we walk the walk 99.9% of the time. We do mess up, but we try and walk the walk, and we do that with that 90-day test drive. So $5 a day really, and try us for 3 months. If you don't like us, that's fine. We'll go on down to our business. So the other thing we do, number 4, is we'll collect the rent, right? That's always fun. We've had a couple clients that have come on board that actually engaged with us because they had family members that were in the rental property and they felt bad about hitting their wife's brother up for the rent money. They're like, hey, can you do this for me? Absolutely. So we collect the rent, right? And I love this one, right? That's actually the look that we get a lot of times when we hear why the rent's going to be late. And we've heard every excuse in the book, as you can imagine. But trying again to give you another reason to use us, we have a rent default insurance. I don't know of any other property management company that does this in Houston where we will give you up to 2 months rent if the tenant doesn't work out. Tenant moves out in the middle of the night, we apply a security deposit, still doesn't work. We'll go ahead and give you that rent up to 2 months rent until we get another tenant in. So for some of those people that say, well, what happens? How do I pay my mortgage if that landlord or that tenant does end up moving out, right? What do I do? Well, this is one way to mitigate that risk some is by offering that rent default insurance, that rent guarantee. So again, just trying to think outside the box as landlords ourselves to make it kind of more palatable to use us as a property management company. And then lastly, the one that I think everybody likes the best is that we're going to send you the money. So we're going to help you find a property, we're going to help find you a tenant, we're going to manage the property, we're going to collect the rent, and then we're going to actually send you the money. Now, daily rent reconciliation, I put that on there because most property management companies reconcile on the 15th of the month. So if your tenant pays the rent on the 1st, they're waiting until the 15th of the month to reconcile the books and then send you the money around the 20th. So you're getting your rent like 3 weeks after it was paid. Never understood why we do that. Well, I actually know why they do it. It's easy. Do it once a month. You do it all at once. It's more efficient for them, but is it efficient for you when your mortgage is due on the 15th? No. So what we do is we actually do daily reconciliation. So you're going to get your rent about 3 to 5 business days after the rent's paid. Of course, it's got to clear our account, clear your account. That's most of the time, but we do that so that way you can get your money in quicker than waiting until the 15th or the 20th. So that's the fifth thing that we do. So hopefully, you get an understanding that if we take over that heavy load from you, we take those repair calls, we collect the rent. When it's delinquent, we go after the tenant. We handle all those fun things that happen as a landlord, and for those of y'all that own a property, this will give you time to do one of two things, right? Either time to go find another investment property, which is a big thing. Your time is actually better spent doing that, right? Or you can just retire and not worry about your property management portfolio as much as if you're having to handle all that every day. So hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of what we do. I would say if you do have rental property and you're DIYing it, we would love to have your business. If you're thinking about buying rental property, we'd love to help you through that process and then help you find a tenant and or management for you. So to go ahead and engage with us, the big thing is find somebody in a pink shirt, right? Pink shirt, pink shirt, pink shirt. So find somebody in a pink shirt. We'll be more than happy to tell you a little bit about us. You can also stop by our vendor table. You can email us. You can go to our website. You can call us. You can get a carrier pigeon and send us a message. It doesn't matter. But we'd love to have your business. So thank you very much. Thanks for letting me talk a little bit about what we do, and we'd love to have you all as a business we can. All right. Thank you very much.
I have one thing to add, Renters Warehouse related. We just opened our office building. It's Pearland Town Center area, just south of 518 and 288. If anybody's looking for space, we would love to have some more real estate related tenants. We actually have some single offices that are inside of a Renters Warehouse office we could work with, make you a deal on. So if anybody's interested, hit me up or rich@renterswarehouse.com. We'd love to talk to you about it. Yay, Rich. Good job. Did I do it right, John? Okay. How are you doing?
All right. Well, thank you, Rich. All right, well, my name's Alex.
Am I off?
I'm the Senior Vice President over at Jet Lending, and I'm here to kind of go over what Jet Lending is, what hard money is. I know a lot of you guys are at our event, but I'd like to go over a little bit how you can utilize this type of financing for anything investment real estate. A lot of you may not know that we can do a lot of different things as long as it's within investment bounds. Now, for a lot of us, we saw a lot of hands come up in the beginning, and it said, a lot of new people. Do you even know why we're even called hard money? I'll tell you, because you're not going to answer me. So we lend against the hard asset, okay? My short-term and my long-term financing for those are doing the long-term rentals and the short-term rentals and the commercial long-term aspects and the short-term. Everything's based off the collateral. On the short-term side of things, credit score is not an issue. That's not my concern. What I do is we analyze all your investments. I'm really excited that you guys are in this room tonight because I live in the realm of math at work. I look at all the properties, I help comp them, I analyze the as-is, the repairs, the after-repaired values, and I even look through your projected profit margins on your business plan. And I'll say within 24 hours, hey, this is what's going on in the area. These are your days on market. This is what your projected ARV is. Are we in line? Would you like to move on appraisal? Because when you use funding like Jet Lending, you close within 3 days of clear to close from title and appraisal report in. Usually that's about 10 days. So we don't have a lot of room for error. So you utilize people like me and our loan office at Jet Lending to be your second pair of eyes. You could be seasoned, you could be new, and it never hurts to have our level of expertise in the market to tell you what's going on. We're not just lenders. Look at this room. If we were, this would be this huge sales pitch for you guys to try to use Jet. I would love all your business. I'm not gonna get all of it. What I'd love for you guys to leave this room tonight with enough education to excel your business and make you wealthy. I'd love to deploy some capital to you too to do it. Now, you may have heard a couple things I said in the beginning. I will do short-term fix and flip. I'll do short-term fix and hold. I can do your long-term purchases. I can do your long-term refinances, your portfolio deals, your land, your commercial deals. If it makes sense in a profit margin and you're buying it well enough, I can lend you money. Never let money be the problem in investment real estate. If you guys are in this room, and the guys that are new today, money's not your issue. It's finding the deal. Really listen to what Eddie has to say today on the math. Listen to what Eddie says about the money. The money is easy. You guys are in the right room, okay? So behind me, you'll see our website. You can do everything online. There's a chat function there. You could talk to us on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. You could text us, you can call us, you can email us. If you're good with carrier pigeons, send them our way. And we will answer you and get behind you as much as possible. That is what always made us different. We will be behind you enough to say, hey, this sounds really good, you should go. Or, are you sure about this? I can't stop you from doing anything. But I can at least give you the idea of saying, listen, are you sure in your business plan, are you gonna make money? I have to make you money because if I do, you'll buy another deal, then I make money. And that's win-win. If you lose money, I gotta go find another you. And that takes time. And I don't have a lot of time. So I'd rather make you money to make me money, and let's all go out later. Okay, so let's do that. So you can see even on our events, like even tonight, you'll see an education. All the videos will be up. Eddie's video from tonight will be up. We want you to watch it again. We are behind you 100%. We will give you everything that you could possibly utilize to be successful in this business. You'll see all the vendors that are outside. You lost someone's card, go to our vendors page. You can go right to their website and check them out. We will give you the ammunition and the tools to succeed. You are not in this alone. You have a friend, you have a business partner, and you have a company that's going to be behind you always. So I'm Alex with Jet Lending. I hope I see you again, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Am I live? All right, James, you're over there. Let's go out run the 3 vendors. James has been a vendor for a long time. He goes way back to the other spots. Anybody got any central heat and air issues? There you go. I put in way too many of them. James, take the floor, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. My name is James McLaughlin. I'm the owner of JMS Air and Heat. And I want to talk to you about some jet lending, renters warehouses, do's and don'ts when it comes to your air conditioning. How many of you closed a deal and you go to closing and you can't close because the drain pan's leaking water and you got a $100,000 check waiting to go to somebody and you can't go for a $10, $20 part? I see it all day, every day. We fix that for you guys. If you call and you call our company, JMS Air and Heat, and you mention jet lending and renters warehouse by name, we will come out and we will check the property for you at no cost. We want to know before you buy the property so you know what's going on with it. That way when you go in, if you know you got a $2,000 air conditioning unit that's blowing up, or you got a $20 problem and they're trying to sell you something that you don't need. We want to know 3 things. Are you flipping it? Are you keeping it? Or is it just you don't even interested in it. And from there, we can get you lined out from there. One of the biggest problems I see is people don't budget enough for the air conditioning. Anybody have an idea if you've got to change the air conditioning out, what it is per ton? Average cost if you got to change a unit? $700 per ton. So if you've got a 5-ton system, get ready to take $3,500 out of your budget. Where's it coming from? Floors, walls, lights? You better know, because if you don't know, you're gonna have to call Eddie and get more money. And you don't want that. You want more profit, not more money. One of the other things I want to talk about is a lot of people will come out and they'll tell you that the air conditioning is leaking refrigerant. This is a myth. This is a joke. It's a unicorn in the room. If somebody tells you you need Freon, you need to have another recommendation immediately. If they're not going over it with a leak detector, if you don't know what a leak detector is, stop by our booth. We'll show you what it is. When we check the air conditioning, we actually will check it. We don't charge you more money for it. We'll check it, we'll pinpoint it, and we'll actually show you, hey, this is your issue. This is what's going on. And we'll make sure that it's right. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, so the other guys can get up here and do what they do, because I don't want to keep y'all very long, is I see people that do a lot of work and you don't mention any of the stuff that you do when you sell the property. How many people put in a new air conditioning and put on the sheet that, hey, we have a new equipment that's under a 10-year manufacturer's warranty? Buyers want to see that stuff. They want to know that what they're buying is under warranty, and long after you're gone, they're still going to be covered through that manufacturer's warranty. And there's a lot of people that don't do that. I had a customer last week, went out there. He's had another company come out, spent $12,000 on air conditioning. We would have put in for $7,000, but you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he didn't even talk to anybody about it. He could have had it on the market for 10-year parts and labor. Nothing sells a property quicker than air conditioning, because they're looking at your roof, they're looking at the air conditioning, they're looking at the foundation. Everything else, they got a brother-in-law that does it. They're going to come in and they're going to take care of it for you. But if y'all have any questions, stop by and see me. I'd love to give y'all some more information. Yes, ma'am.
You got a question, dear? You're down to, you only get 2 questions tonight. You got one right here.
One right here. Something new, Freon, something beginning this year. We have to do
Something new
Okay.
on this year.
Yes, so all the manufacturers, get ready for this, because it's all coming out. Because of COVID, we have a 2-year moratorium. They're not going to do it. But starting January this year, all manufacturers are going to 1 or 2 types of refrigerant. So if you're buying 6 or 7 product lines, most of those 6 or 7 product lines, they have 6 or 7 different refrigerants. They're going to make it universal to where it's only 1. But when you go through and you do that, a lot of this stuff retrofits. And that's a scare tactic that they use trying to sell you something. You can take a new system and your old coil inside most likely will marry to that and adjust. You have to do a simple flushing of the system for a couple $100, and then we can flush it out and we can get it and put the new system in with the new refrigerant. It's not going to be drastic like it was with the cars years ago where you've got to throw it all around. Does that answer your question? But the date that's coming, they put it to 2025. That's when it's going to be mandatory across the system. And all manufacturers will start going to it in 2024. So they'll start pushing it. Any other questions?
We got to roll.
Let's go.
We'll get your question in a little bit.
Lachey, Blue Star Construction.
We could fill up that room for the general contractors and not meet the need for this industry. Thank you for being here, dear. Is it live?
Am I live? Can you guys hear me? All right. Am I loud enough? How are you today? Good. As he said, there are so many contractors in the city, in the state, in this world, but all general contractors are not created equally. And why is that? Because your contractor is only going to be as good as their experience. To be a general contractor, there is no school you have to go to, right? Joe Blow with the truck can call himself a contractor. You can give him your money and he can disappear on you tomorrow. So what you guys need is someone who is reliable, someone who has years of experience. Blue Star has been in the industry for well over 17 years. That is 17 years that they have had the same business. They haven't changed their name 12 different times, okay? They have a Rolodex of clients who they've worked with since the very beginning. And one of the things that makes them so unique is that they are actually investors. So they know exactly what it is that you guys are looking for when it comes to these properties. So you don't have to worry about a contractor who's used to doing retail, which those of you who are industry, if you know, the pricing is different, right? We want to have pricing that is suitable for an investor so that they can actually get a return on that property. You also want to make sure that that property construction project is being completed on time. That is so important, especially if you are using great guys like Jet and you are in a hard money loan. Time is of the absolute essence. So you don't want a contractor who does not understand time schedules, someone who feels as though they can take 6 months to finish a project, right? These guys work in volume. For that reason, they want to make sure they do it right the first time and get it done according to their schedule. When you get a bid from a contractor, make sure that you actually look at that bid, right? A lot of times investors are very, very tempted to go with the lowest price bid. But if you take a second look at that bid, 9 times out of 10, what you will find is that they left some very important aspects of your renovation off of that bid. Contractors will do that just to get the job. Next thing you know, you're getting change order after change order after change order. And what used to be the lowest bid is now costing you a lot more. So those are things that you have to worry about as an investor, and to alleviate those worries, work with someone who does have the experience, and that is Blue Star. They're able to do single family as well as multifamily. They even have experience working on commercial projects. They work specifically with investors, but because they are so experienced, they can help you on your homestead properties as well. So if you guys have any questions, you can definitely come out, find us at our table. Just go right out that door and to the right, and that is it. Thank you, guys. Oh, we got a lot of...
Okay, I've not used them yet. They're new here, but the feedback I have received has been really good on these guys on Blue Star. Thank you very much. This next man, I got good news and bad news. The good news is he's been coming to this meeting forever. The good news is he's a great builder and a great designer. He does beautiful work in the high-end areas. The bad news is I'm going to have to run him off in 3 or 4 minutes because he'll talk forever. Tom Johns, it's your show, brother.
Okay, I have to follow my notes.
I love Tom. I'd pick on him.
Tom Johns here, realtor, civil engineer, builder. As a realtor and a member of HAR, and that's Houston Area Realtors, HAR.com, I have access to the most comprehensive real estate data in Houston and surrounding counties and municipalities. I could go back years and find out what a house sold for, the price per square foot, the number of bedrooms, the bathrooms, pictures of the interior at the time of the sale, the mortgage loan amount, taxes, and any other pertinent information. I can evaluate your prospective purchase for our search criteria to help you determine if your deal is profitable. As your realtor, I offer complimentary foundation inspection. As owner of Lifestyle Design Build, LLC, we can produce architectural drawings, engineered structural drawings, ready to permit your project. No need to hire an engineer separately after your architectural plans are completed. All the structural framing and foundation plans are incorporated with the architectural set of plans ready to permit. All exterior elevations are displayed in 3-dimensional views. Lifestyle Design Build LLC offers consulting and project management priced at different levels depending on your client's needs, our client's needs. As a builder for over 45 years, we have contractor referrals for our team partners, i.e. over 30 framing crews, over 20 carpentry crews, etc. Lifestyle Design Build LLC offers civil engineering services for projects like trailer and RV parks, storage buildings, subdivision plat, stormwater detention, and site drainage. Lifestyle Design Build offers preparation of project loan documents that include project costs and contract preparation for submission to your lender. Lifestyle Texas Properties LLC offers joint venture partnerships for townhouse development projects, trailer parks, and storage facilities. You can contact me at 713-681-8200 or email me at tom@lifestylepropertiestx.com. My vendor table is by the Pay Liquor Bar. It's over by the Pay Liquor Bar. Pick up my business card. Thank you.
That man, I'm telling you what, does good stuff. I promise you. Who got my beer? Mark, you stole my beer. That's right. All righty. Thank you, Mr. Johns. Thank you, Lachey. Thank you, James. All righty. Now the proverbial word, let's get down to business. What do you think? All right. How many of you, honestly, let me survey you. I need my clicker, Alex. I need my clicker. How many of you know real estate investing math, real estate investing arithmetic? How many of you really know it? Let me see your hands. Come on. You know how to calculate it. How many of you ain't got a clue? Well, hell, I asked who knows it and who don't, and nobody raised their hand on any of it. So where are we? Come on, let's get down to business. Do you want to buy houses or do you not want to buy houses? All right. I am a firm believer, and I'm not going to pick on wholesalers here too much. How many wholesalers in the audience? It's okay. In my opinion, many of you in your craft will contract the house at the lowest dollar amount possible that the seller will sign the contract for, with no real intuitive knowledge of where you are in that numbers. I believe that. I'm not picking on you. I'm just telling you I believe that. All right? Having said that, you know, how many of you use an iPad with some formula you bought that calculates the offer for you? Let me see it. All right? You're bold. Thank you. You're the only one here. Raise your hand. A bunch of liars in this room, what we got. You know what? I'm okay with that. If you know how to pull out your 49-cent Texas Instrument calculator and come up with the same damn number that the iPad gave you. Or you can say the iPad's wrong, the program's wrong, or it's high or low. You got to know how to do this. You do. So let's jump into it. I have not given this presentation in 2 years, and I love this presentation. Probably the only presentation I like more than this one is the presentation I call, what do you do after you get a no? What do you do? And I get asked this question all the time. What's the key to the business? What's the key to this business? And there's lots of keys to the business. But if I could say one thing and one thing only, is when I tell you, sir, I'll pay you $102,450 for this house. And he goes, screw you, get out of here, you're crazy, I need more than that. What? Huh? What are you thinking? No way. An assortment of answers. It is what you do at that point in your life in this business will make you wealthy or put you back in your corporate job or wherever you were before. Okay? What you do after you get a no, I think is the most important thing in the business. This is probably a 1B, knowing the math behind it. So why am I qualified to be here? Well, I'm from Mississippi. That's why I'm qualified to be here. The day I moved from Mississippi to Texas, the average IQ of both states went down. Some of you had to think about that one a second, didn't you? Okay? Went to Mississippi State, moved to Texas, got a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, did work in the power plants in the petrochem world. It is a slight exaggeration, but not much, that I have been in every chemical plant or refinery from Corpus Christi to Baton Rouge at one time or another. It is a slight exaggeration, but not much. I've been in most of them. I walked into my corporate office and June of 99, and I quit. True story, quit. The next day, or a few days later, I was in the flipping houses business way before it was HGTV cool to be in this business. Because it wasn't cool then. Real estate agents did not like us. They thought we were all fraudsters. Now, it's cool to be in this business. It's HGTV, cool to be here. And I bought about 1,850 of them. That's enough. Okay? I had a dream one day to be at 2,000. I may get there, but I may not. I know most of you think I'm about 40 years old, but I'm 60 now. You know, that usually gets a laugh, but it didn't get much of a laugh tonight. Most of you agree with me that I look like I'm 40. All right, so formulas. How many of you seen these formulas? ARV, after repaired value, times 70% minus repairs. ARV times 65% minus repairs. Everybody seen that? All right, let me ask you a question then. If all of you seen that formula, how much profit's in that number, 70%? How much? No, what you're buying for is right there. There's your offer. You got a 30% discount off ARV minus your repair. How much profit's in that number? You don't know, do you? How many of you don't know? Raise your hand. How many of you know? Raise your hand. How much profit's in that number? There is approximately 15% profit in that number. The other 15% pays your buying costs, your holding costs, your selling costs. 15% profit. So if that's 15% profit, how much is this one? Approximately, and it varies, it's approximately 20% profit in that number. All right? So we want to buy on this one, don't we? Well, that's good, but I can guarantee you that your percent of success goes down as you approach that number. Meaning you'll close some, but you'll close fewer. Okay? Anybody want to argue with me yet? It's okay if you argue with me. I'll win the argument, but it's okay to argue with me. Okay? All right. But we all know these. People go to seminars, 3-day workshops all over the world to learn that, and they pay $400 to $5,000. So I'm going to pass a hat down through here in a minute, and we're going to collect that money that y'all owe me for sharing that with you. All right, a quick example, and I'm going to tell you something. You need to be running this in your head when you walk in the front door, assuming you're buying from the end user and you're not going through MLS and agents, which is okay, and assuming you're not going through wholesalers, which is okay. But if you want to do this, if y'all can't tell, I play pro baseball. If you want to hit them out of the park, pop them out. You got to get in the living rooms and kitchens of motivated sellers that's been there a while. That's where you hit your home runs. So, let's just say a standard run-of-the-mill house, nothing special about it. 250,000 ARV, needs 40,000 in repairs. If you're going to use 70%, you're going to offer going to be around here. 65% going to be around here. That's a 5% difference. If my Mississippi math is correct, that's $12,500, right? Okay? Starting to kind of get a feel for it a little bit. That's where you're going to be, generally speaking, from the published and seminar formulas, which I am not anti these formulas, by the way. I use them, and as soon as I walk in the front door, as I've driven up to the house, I've already got my ARV because I pulled my comps. All right, we'll see you later. We're good. I'm just messing with you. All right. All right. I've already got the 250 when I pull up in the front yard. I already know that number. I've already researched. I've looked at the sales comps. I've driven by the house. I got there probably 30, 40 minutes early and driven the comps in the neighborhood. I know that number. I've been in enough houses, and I got an advantage over a lot of you here. I've been in enough houses, I can look at the outside, and I got in my mind, this deal's going to need 20, it's going to need 30, it's going to need 40, it's going to need 50, it's going to need 60. So I kind of got these numbers in my mind already when I walk and knock on the front door, okay? All right. If you go to any file of any house I've ever bought, any house, 1,800 of them, you're going to find scribbled on the back of my comps. It's not going to say those words. I'll jump ahead. It's that right there. That's an actual house. I made a copy of it for this. That's the formula I use for every house I've ever bought. I know my ARV. I spend more time on ARV than any other number. Repairs. I'm not saying they're not important. They're 40, 50,000, 60,000. You miss that number by 10%, you miss your number by 4, 5, 6,000, right? You miss that number by 15%, you miss it by 6, 7, 8, 9,000, right? ARV. Let's take that last one, 250. You missed that one by 10%. What have you missed it by? 25,000. You're in trouble if you're on the wrong side of that dial. You with me? That ARV is the number that you must put the most time on. There's only one other thing that you spend more time on than ARV, and that is talking eyeball to eyeball with that seller. Talking to him in the kitchen, at the kitchen table. Talking to him, in the living room on the couch. That's where you tee them up and hit them out of the park. Okay? But this is the formula. Does any of this surprise you? Show me your hands, please. BS, I don't believe it. Because I ain't talked to a wholesaler yet. That's not true. Most wholesalers I've talked to ain't got a clue about holding cost. What's it cost to hold it? Let's look at it. Okay? All right, so let's go into this. That's a sheet on the back of one of my buy files right there. I'll come back to it if you want me to. So what's in your buying costs? It costs money to buy a house, right? What's in that number? If you're using Jet Lending, there's fees. If you're using one of Jet Lending's friendly Houston competitors, there's fees. If you're using Prosperity Bank, there's fees. Those fees will probably be smaller than a hard money lender, but there's fees. Okay? I guarantee you there's fees. And they ain't going to close it near as quick as a local hard money lender. There's fees in that number. Okay? What else is in your buying cost? Title policy. You're the buyer. You paying title policy, yes or no? Yes or no? You paying title policy? Yeah, sometimes you do. It's negotiated. In Texas, generally speaking, the seller pays title policy. That's in the retail world. In our world, it's negotiated, and you may have to pay it. I'm going to say I pay the title policy on 60 to 70% of my purchases. Here's the difference. I'll pay you $104,570, and they go, I'll take it. First of all, I get very damn nervous with that. I don't like it. I'm used to getting no's. I immediately think, what the heck did I miss? But they say I'll do it. And then they just said yes, and they say, are you paying the closing costs? I said, no, we share closing costs. Okay, here's another scenario. I'll pay you $103,570 for this house. They go, oh, hell no. Heck no. Now we start negotiating. You know my number includes I pay the closing costs, right? You see, you start to give and negotiate with it. So in that's the second scenario, I'm probably paying that title policy. Does this make sense? All right. Cost of your money up front, that we talked about that. You may have paid a referral fee. Insurance fee, so you don't think I'm freaking crazy and old and can't remember, because you got another slide coming up. It's got holding costs for the insurance. You're normally paying your insurance up front, but for my calculations in buying houses, I put it in my carrying costs because it is monthly. But just so you know, you're probably paying it up front, 12 months of insurance. You know, your builder's risk or whatever you're buying out there from Benchmark or whoever you're dealing with. That's your buying cost. It adds up. If you're using Texas Regional Bank money, your upfront fees for your loan will be less, but they're slower. If you're using Jet Lending or a similar company, they're going to be higher. But, you know, if you're buying a house at a steep discount, most of us have to promise a fast close. In order to get the fast, quick closing, you've got to close these things in 20, 21 days, give or take a little. That's negotiated, but you can't do that timeline and use, you know, Prosperity Bank, you know, Allegiance Bank, Allegiance now Stellar, you know, usual regional bank. You can't go on that timeline, okay? Any questions about what's in your buying cost? Got to have it in there. All right, holding costs. This is the one that people really don't know. I calculate on my carrying costs. I use the word carrying costs and holding costs synonymously. They're the same thing. If you hear me say carrying and holding, same thing. It is the interest on your loan, your monthly payment, your monthly insurance. Remember I said last time I had that monthly? Don't double count it, but you normally pay it up front, but I calculate it in my carrying costs. Property insurance, property taxes, utilities, HOA fees, maintenance fees. If it's a condo or townhome, you probably got it. Okay? Probably got that fee. Pool service, if you got a pool, you got lawn maintenance, you got cleaning throughout, especially after you finish the rehab and you're marketing the property. It's Texas. We're going to get bugs. We're going to get leaves blown in. You're going to get crap in there. You got to clean them a little bit if you're putting them on the market. That's in the holding cost. I calculate every bill I've got, whatever that number comes to. Let's say it's $2,000. Could be a lot more. Could be $3,000 with that interest on your loan. Depends on the size of your loan. Now, here's the X factor. How many months are you going to own it? We don't know. None of you know. I'm going to tell you this, you're holding them longer now today than you were a year and a half ago. Would everybody agree with that? Hell, you couldn't put the sign in the yard about selling it. But now it's different. We're not in a crisis, but it's slower than it was. Would everybody agree with me? It's slower. You can't win that argument that it's not. So, how much? It is a factor, in my opinion, and it's a gut feel. It's a factor of the ARV. The higher that number, normally the longer months you're going to hold it. And certainly for budgetary purposes to buy the house, you calculate a higher number. I can guarantee you it takes longer to sell a $600,000 house than it does a $230,000 house. I guarantee you. Those houses under 300 used to not be a big deal around here. Now, because there's no inventory, that stuff flies off the shelf. And if you get under 200, it's flying even faster off the shelf. So if you get those properties, you know, try to get those under contract and get those opportunities, because you're probably going to sell them. Okay? But How many months? Down back to the point. On average, I use 5. I might use longer. Can I get a water, if you don't mind, Alex? If I'm up in that 500,000-600,000 and greater, sorry, y'all, I guarantee you I'm going 6, 7, 8, 9. When I approach that 700,000-800,000 million, I'm going 10, 12. I hope I don't own it that long, but I'm budgeting that from my offer. If I budget 10 months and I sell it in 6, what just happened? I made 4 months of extra holding cost profit. That's what I did. But remember this, that made your offer lower, your rate of success will also decrease as you do that. Does that make sense? All right? That's in my holding cost. This is the one that I really and truly feel like most people don't do accurately. Did this educate anybody? Anybody seen anything surprising here? Nobody did, huh? Here you go. Here, you teach it. No. Okay, no, this stuff's real now. So please think it's serious. All right, let's talk about this one. Let's go back. Profit. See line item down here? All right. What we're going to budget for profit, y'all? What we're going to do? How much profit? 15? I got 15. 20%. 25%. I love 25%. Generally speaking, I budget 20%. Generally speaking. You've been here before. Don't be bragging. 20%. So a $300,000 house, I'm budgeting $60,000 on my profit. If you're a wholesaler, you might want to consider 20% plus a little for your assignment fee, right? You might want to consider it, okay? That's what I do. Back in the old days when we were buying houses at and MLK 77033 South Park, and we're buying those houses at $20,000, $15,000, $20,000. All you youngsters probably look at your eyes, that old guy, what's he know? But we were doing it. It wasn't that long ago. We were buying houses in South Park at $20,000 every day, and we'd put 20, 30 in them, sell them for 99, maybe 110. Today, those same houses, we'll pay 70, 80, 90, put 30, 40 in them, 40, 30 to 50 in them, we sell them for 160 to 200. Same house. Same house, y'all. And we do them all day long. But back then, you had to be careful on your percent of profit because, 20% of an $80,000 ARV, 20% of a $90,000 ARV, only $16,000 to $18,000. You can get yourself hurt on those deals. So you had to jack your profit number up a little bit, to be able to survive it in case something goes wrong. Remember, I told you this. When you're calculating the profit number, that number right there, that's the only number on that board that keeps your butt out of trouble. All the other numbers are somewhat fixed. Somewhat. They'll vary a little. But the profit number, you budget 20% on a $300,000 house, that's $60,000 profit. Who wants to make that on every deal? I do. That's above average, I promise. What if something goes wrong? What number on this board keeps your butt out of trouble? It's that number right there. That number slides down. You didn't make 60, you only made 28. Is that a success? Absolutely it is. When all the accounting is done, I'll take a $28,000 deal every day of the week when I know I got it. But if I had been a little bit wrong in my numbers, instead of budgeting 60, I said, I know what I'm doing. I'm a superstar. I bought tons of houses. I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm selling this, and I budget 35. Now, from 60 to 28, that was $32,000, right? Now I budget 35. Now I made 3 for a lot of work. Say if I budgeted 25, now I lost 7. My point being, that's the number that keeps you out of trouble. Make sense? It's the only number on the board that keeps you out of trouble, that absorbs unknowns, that absorbs, what's your unknowns? Repairs get out of budget. You hold it too long. Your ARV was 300, but you didn't get 300, you got 275. You with me on that? That's where your unknown starts to bite you in the you-know-where. Okay? That's what the profit number, if done appropriately, it makes you money, but it also keeps you out of trouble. Make sense? Okay? All right. Selling cost. You're going to sell this thing. All right? You got closing costs. You got a title policy. I can guarantee you that if you sell it on MLS, and most of you will, or most of you probably should, you sell it on MLS, you're going to pay the title policy. You're going to do it. And then you'll have your other normal closing costs. You'll have realtor commissions. I skipped seller contribution on purpose, coming back to it. Realtor commissions. How many of you in this room are licensed Texas real estate agents? How many of you are not licensed Texas real estate agents? Okay, that's fine. You can do it either way, but I will tell you this. In 1999 through probably 08, 09, 10, very few investors were licensed. Somewhere we changed mentally. Probably 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now the majority of us are licensed. And the reason is you save half the real estate commissions right off the bat. $300,000 sales price, you save $9,000. Okay? Because you're only paying the buyer's agent. Plus you get MLS, plus you get some training, plus you know a little bit more about writing contracts. It's just overall, a more positive. It can bite you. You're more susceptible to a lawsuit. Okay? You're more susceptible to a complaint. But I think if you're doing your business right, the positives outweigh the negatives. That's the reason most of us are licensed today. But you're going to pay a real estate commission most of the time. That can be somewhat minor, HOA training, unless you're in freaking Bentwater in Lake Conroe. Then you got to shave off a leg and an arm for those transfer fees. Anybody ever bought a house in Bentwater? Call me stupid. I've done 3. I don't think I'll ever do another one. Okay? Just so you know. Prorated property taxes. All right. I put this in my holding costs. I calculate my monthly taxes times that 5 months or 6 months or 7 months or 8 months. I do. But just so you know, you get hit with it on your settlement statement at the end, so you're paying it lump sum. You're not writing your check out to Harris County Appraisal District or Montgomery County Appraisal District or Fort Bend County Appraisal District. You're not doing that every month, but at the end of the day, you're getting hit with it. Okay? Seller contribution. Whoop. I jumped somewhere. I missed it. Seller contribution. Who knows what seller contribution is? This is something they teach you in real estate school. If that property you're selling on MLS is being sold for $300,000 or less, I'm going to say 80% of the time, the buyer's agent's going to ask you for closing cost help. The higher the price point, the less that they do it. So you got a $250,000 house getting an FHA loan, they're going to ask you for seller contribution. So, do you pay it, do you not? If you don't pay it, they're probably going to go down the road and buy offer on another house, so you kind of get locked in. But here's what you do. If you got a house on the market for 2 days and you got 3 offers, you hold your ground. And you try to capture it in your sales price if you can, but you hold your ground. If you got a house on the market for 86 days and this is your first offer, you're probably going to give in and pay seller contribution, because it's not like they're trying to steal your money. Most likely that buyer has down payment money, and that's all they got. Okay? That's all they got. They can't close the loan unless they get some assistance from the seller. That's what seller contribution is. Totally legal. You see it more on FHA than you see it on anything. You'll see it on the Fannie Mae loans as well, but the FHA is very prevalent. Okay? Who knows about, and I just thought of this, it's not in the presentation. How many of you, show me your hands, you've been lying to me all night, not raising your hands, but show me this one. How many of you do not know the FHA 91-day seasoning rule? Show me your hands. All right, that's way too many. Let me explain it to you. You bought the house on May 1. Closing papers say May 1. Your settlement statement is dated May 1. June 1's 30 days, July 1's 60 days, August 1's 90 days. You got 90, it's not the 90-day rule, it's a 91-day rule. You cannot execute a sales contract on that property to sell to a new buyer that's getting an FHA loan for 91 days. You can Fannie Mae, you can VA, you can cash, you can Texas Community Bank, you can credit union. I probably got them all. But you can't on FHA for 91 days. Remember, you heard it here. If you got a lender or the buyer's agent telling you you can't execute it for 91 days on a Fannie Mae, a VA, or credit union, they don't know what they're talking about, because you can. But you can't on FHA for 91 days. Closing date to contract date. Not closing date to closing date. It's closing date when you bought it to the contract date. And there's some methods to work that system a little bit, but we don't have time to cover it here. Okay? All right. So, you got that house of $300,000. 70% or 65% minus 40,000 repairs, you're going to offer 170 or 155, right? That's a delta of $15,000 or 5%. Does everybody agree with that? All righty. Let's do this one. Let me get my cheat sheet. This is a real deal. So you won't think I pencil whipped these numbers. My buying cost is $6,800. How I came up with that was you used a hard money loan, and you got 3 origination points and another $1,400 in closing. The $17,000 in holding costs is made up of this. I got interest of $2,100 a month for 5 months at 12%. That's $10,500. I got insurance at $400 a month times 5 months. That's $2,000. I got property taxes at $600 a month. That would be $7,200 a year, by the way, times 5 months. That's $3,000. I got lawn maintenance, $50 a week for 5 months. I got utilities at only $100 a month. $100 a month for 5 months. That totals to $17,100. I'm off by $25. I'm sorry, I made a $25 error somewhere. That's where the $17,000. Repair cost was a fixed number 40. Desired profit was 20%. 20% of 300,000 is 60. Selling costs, I use 1% plus 1,400 miscellaneous. Realtor commissions, I'm gonna make the assumption that you're a licensed. 3% of 309. All right, $162,675 is my offer. You can't make this stuff up. 155 was the 65% number. 170 was the 70% number. My formula is 162, almost dead in the middle. You can't make it up. The numbers do not lie. How many of you like that slide? I'm telling you, that's the real deal. And I can take you back to every house I have ever bought, and you will see that on the back somewhere in my file. And that's how I do it. Every freaking stinking time.
Could you walk us through what the stars mean?
I can't hear you, baby.
Could you walk us through what the stars mean at the bottom right?
The stars? Oh, I offered on this house I started at $124,570 and they rejected it. Then I upped my offer to $127,320 and they said, "Will you give us $130?" What'd I say? Let's go to town. And when I made that offer, they said, "We'll take it," and I wrote a 4-star on it. And then I wrote my note, I'll pay the title policy, they pay their own closing costs, they pay their closing costs in prorated taxes. The roof was 5 years old, it was on city sewer, community water, no HOA. They lived there for 12 years, they need to move ASAP, and I can't even read what I wrote right there. That's how I do it. This is really out of one of my files.
Eddie, I got a question on the repairs. Do you have a specific vendor you use to calculate your repairs so you know your repairs
The question is, do I have a specific vendor that I use? The answer is sort of yes, sort of no. We GC all of our stuff. So I have plumbers, I have electricians, I have roofers, I have foundation. And I know all those numbers. That's an advantage I've got. I knew it was going to come up about repair costs. We don't have time. We got to do another night and do repair costs. I don't have time to do it. But what it boils down to, we've done so many houses. I know what it costs to replace a ceiling fan. I know what it costs to replace a roof. And I'm running those numbers when I'm there. My interior paint on this one was $4,200. My exterior paint was $2,100. My flooring was $5,800. Hardware was $600. Miscellaneous plumbing and electrical was $2,000. 20-foot of countertop was $2,400. Appliances was $1,700. My yard was $450. Central heat and air was $5,500. Light fixtures was $1,000. My doors was $1,200. Almost $27,000 on that house. That's how I did it. And I just walked through. I don't use a fancy iPad that tells me everything. I have a 49-cent Texas Instrument calculator. I don't have a problem using iPads, but you need to know how to do it yourself too. You need to know if the iPad's right. You need to know if the program's right. If you can't do this with a calculator, you got to learn to do it. You really do. Because here's what happens when you got that knowledge. You don't get stumped in front of a client where you're negotiating and they try to tell you, let's just say this, they say, well, we get this stuff done for $12,000. I said, sir, do you need a roof? Yeah, we need a roof. Okay, how much you think you're going to pay for a roof? You know, I got $6,000 here for a roof. What do you think you're going to pay? You see what I'm saying? You get that knowledge and you can combat when they give you a number that don't make any sense. Okay? So, this is the way I do it. Swear to God, it's the way I do it every time. So, if you're going to be in this business, tonight is just one step in getting you there to the knowledge base that you need to do it at a high level. And that's the reason I did it tonight. And maybe you'll like us enough, you'll do business with Jet Lending. Because I kind of open it up for you how I do it. Okay? Make sense? A little bit? A little bit? All right. Buying rental property. Y'all wanna transition a little bit? How many of you want to buy rental properties? Oh, Lord help you. You lost your damn minds. There's only, in my opinion, and my friends at the other societies in town would hear me say this, they'd probably walk in and shoot me. But there's only one reason you get in the rental property business. It ain't for your self-enjoyment on Saturday afternoon, I assure you. Okay? It is one word called, well, maybe we'll give two words: appreciation and wealth. That's the only reason. You put up with them for 10, 12, 14, 15 years. You put up with them. You have a property manager help you put up with them. All right. Most of the professionals that I know buy on this criteria. Could I get a beer? Anybody mind if I get another beer? I'm not going to say something useful. Thank you. I appreciate that support. All right. Here is the criteria that most of the big-time professionals use to buy rental property. Cash flow. Dollars out of pocket, ROI, cash on cash return. And that's not a typo, number 4. I dropped it down. Equity capture. Reverse that a little bit for your flips. Equity capture is all it's about. If you're going to flip it, that's all it's about. You got to capture the equity so you can fix it, buy it, fix it, and sell it quick for profit. That profit's your equity capture. That's not as big of a deal for the big-time rental guys. They buy on this criteria. So, in 2000, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. I'm gonna ask you.
I know you drink a Coors Light.
Yes, I do. I'm gonna let you ask an extra question just for that. Okay. All right. I made this slide. I'm gonna tell you something. I debate if I'm gonna tell you or not. I made this slide in 2016. The number 400 was on there in 2016. And when I updated the presentation, I actually gave it in 16. I gave it 2 years ago, in 21. But I didn't change it. Honest to God, truth, I didn't change it. I still today, with all of my conversations with all my buddies in this industry, I still feel like $400 is kind of a target. Now, the variable here tonight is interest rates. And I'm going to come back to that point, and I'm going to come back to that point, and come back to that point. Y'all, if I was having this presentation 2 years ago, what were the interest rates for 30-year fixed investor loans, 30-year fixed? What was the rate if you had a 680 credit score? 4.5, I hear. Anybody else? 6? 5? It was 4.5 to 5, y'all, 2 years ago. What are they today? 10. I hear 10. You're gonna be 8 and 9s. You're gonna be 8 and 9s today, y'all. So for those of you wanting to invest in rental property, you gotta make a decision. Do you take a hit for a little while? It's okay if you say, no, I ain't gonna do that. And take that 400 down to another number, knowing or speculating that the rates are going to come down. I can't promise you that. I think they are. Gasoline's already falling. Why is gasoline falling? Why? Anybody know? Come on now. Election's on the way. You guys don't think that? Elections are on the way. So they coming down, y'all. Elections going to drive them rates down. Watch what I'm telling you. You heard it here. Okay? So, you gotta make a decision. Do you want to invest in those rental properties, speculating the rates are going to come down, which I can't promise you, but I think they will. And you just bite that bullet for a little while, or do you wait? Choice is yours. Okay? But generally speaking, cash flow, this is where the big boys are. They want to see 400, maybe 500 a month. The wheelhouse, now I did revise that one. I had to up these numbers, 150 to 275. What's magical about the 275 number today on an ARV on renting? What's magical about that number? If you don't know it, you need to know this. What's magical about that number? There's an argument that number's 250. I stretched it to 275. I'm honest, that's a stretch number here tonight. You still have the 1% rule in Houston, Texas, meaning a $250,000 house, generally speaking, will rent for $2,500. Generally speaking, a $275,000 house will rent for $2,750. You get north of that number, your 1%, y'all, don't hold true no more. It don't. It's less. So that's the reason that's your wheelhouse. Okay? Second reason is it's high demand area, but the main reason is the 1% rule. Any of you ever heard of the 1% rule around here? Okay? Did you know that number? Okay? Now you do. Don't forget it. It's important. All right. All right, I'm dead. Where's my clicker? Time's up. I done passed out. Is it the computer locked up or is it me? Oh, there we go. Locked up on me. Dollars out of pocket. All right. Follow me here. Now I'm not talking about Invitation Homes, and I'm not talking about those companies that own a $100,000 house. I'm talking about us. We own 1 to 150 houses. Us right here. I'm not talking about, what was it, Blackstone? Blackstone? I'm not talking about those guys. I'm not talking about Invitation Homes. I'm talking about Tricon. I'm talking about us. All right. Most of us will buy rental properties and we'll do 2 closings. Here's why. If you go long-term money right off the purchase, you're putting 20 to 30% down, plus your closing costs, plus all the repairs out of your pocket. Okay? Every time. If you do a double close, you buy with short-term money and then you refinance into long-term money. The second loan is based off loan to value, not loan to cost. And it's a big swing. It's a huge swing out of your pocket. Just if you don't know that, trust me, it's true. Because the second loan is based on value, you can roll in your cost of closing, you can roll in your repairs, you can roll that stuff in. It's a huge thing. Most investors will buy these properties with $10,000 to $20,000 out of pocket overall with 2 closings. Yes, with 2 closings, you will lose some equity. 4 to 6% that second closing costs you. But you got a whole lot more money in your pocket, and you keep putting $40,000, $50,000 out every time you buy a rent house. I don't care who you are, you're going to run out of money sooner or later, aren't you? Okay? You can buy more houses if you're only putting $10,000 to $20,000 out, right? And you're going to have some money out of pocket, most likely. Most likely. I mean, you can buy some and you don't, but most likely you're going to be out of pocket a little bit. So keep that in mind. That's category number 2. ROI, return on your investment. Cash on cash is the way most people calculate this. Now, let me be straight up with you before you start nitpicking me to death. I'm not calculating vacancy, And I'm not calculating repairs in this number. They're there. I'm not ignoring them, but I'm just talking about the criteria that most people will use. If they can get a 12% return on their cash before vacancy and repairs, that's okay today. You get lower interest rates, that number's coming up. 20% is a big number. You can still get it, but when we were at 4.5%, 5%, that was a very common number, y'all. It ain't today. You can still get it, but you got to buy them a little deeper. Does that make sense? You following me? All right. Quick, easy math. You're $24,000 out of pocket on buying a rental. You bought it with short-term money. You refinanced. You repaired it. You got the short-term, but you're still $24,000 out of pocket. All right. $24,000 out of pocket. Let's say your cash flow in that, I don't know, we'll say $500 a month. So that's $6,000. And you got 24 in it. I don't know about y'all, but my quick math says that's 25% ROI, cash on cash. Am I right? 6,000 divided by 24,000, right? Y'all follow me how I got there? There's a million different calculations to figure it out. But you're making $500 a month, $6,000 a year before vacancy and maintenance, divided by 24,000 that you out of pocket is 25% cash on cash. Is that real world? Not really, because vacancy and maintenance is there. You calculate that on a separate sheet, but this is what they're using to buy them off of. Now, that house goes vacant in 18 months. You just lost your $9,000. I said 18 months, that'd be a year and a half of the $6,000. Now you got $9,000. You didn't lose it. You just spent it on your paint and carpet and your new stove or whatever. But I'm going to show you in a minute why you do it anyway, because it's all about what? Why do you buy a rental property? Appreciation and wealth. I'll show you in a minute. Okay? All right. Here's a few tidbits. Your all-in number, you always got to know what that is. That is what you paid plus your closing costs, plus your repairs, plus your refinance fees. Sometimes I lump the refinance fees into my closing costs. So it's closing times 2. Total payment is your principal and interest, plus your taxes, plus your monthly insurance, plus your management fees. With a condo and townhome, add your monthly maintenance. You may consider HOA monthly dues on a house. They're usually pretty small. Dollars out of pocket. They're very critical here. If you're just going to close it once and buy it with long-term money from the get-go, it's 20 to 30% down plus your closing costs plus all your repairs out of your pocket. That's your total dollars out of pocket. If you do 2 closes, your all-in number will be all of those things minus 75% of your repair. Makes sense? You're getting a second loan based on ARV. That dollar amount is less, I assure you, almost every time, and usually sizable. Common sense, cash flow equals your monthly rental minus your monthly payment. Cash on cash returns is your cash flow times 12 divided by your dollars out of pocket. It's really not difficult to calculate this stuff. But you got to have a mentality where you just flow through it in your brain. I do it 8 times a day. It's just second nature to me. You'll get that away too one day if you stay in this business. All right. Cash on cash return, I did a quick example. I'm getting 412 times 12 months, 49.44. I was out of pocket $24,000. I got a cash on cash before maintenance and pay of 20.6. Who would take that deal today? I will. I'll take it. Interest rates go down, that 20.6, y'all, is going to kick it. And I think they will. All right, key principles. By using the double close technique, you will have much less out of pocket and a higher return on investment, but less cash flow. Always be evaluating your all-in number. Total dollars out of pocket with a double close is much less. Using long-term financing for your second loan. Just a few tidbits you need to know. Typically, when you refinance with your second loan today, they're going to be 70 to 75%. 80s are available. They're a little tougher to get, but they're available. All right, here's one of my golden rules. Do not go into investing in rental property strictly for cash flow. Let the cash flow be the gravy. If you get cash flow, great. Get into it for the wealth and the appreciation. Look at your net cash flow, meaning always factor in how much principal you're paying down every month, and what's your appreciation and your depreciation on your tax savings. Y'all do know you write these things off, right, for your depreciation, right? Over, 22 and a half years, I think it is. Is it 22 or 23 and a half years? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, works out to about 3% a year. I'm not an accountant. Don't take accounting advice from me. Be prepared to take less cash flow when financing with shorter terms. We do it all the time. Pay attention where this train may run off the track. And I'm going to say right there is use a good property manager. You had a presentation earlier today by Renters Warehouse. You know, that property manager is very crucial to you. Look closely at the other numbers. I stay away from houses with a high mud tax, you know, which got high taxes on the high side. Stay away from those. All right, here's something you don't know. If you want to keep a house occupied and the top of the appreciation chain, buy them where there's great high schools. I'm not saying elementary schools and middle schools and junior high and freshman schools are not important, but don't nothing drive it like the high school. Nothing drives it. That house will stay full all the time in a great high school. Kind of an oddball, eminent domain. I've hit a couple of home runs on that. I like it. I like buying houses that's been owned a long time by an elderly person with low tax value. I take my chances I can keep it down. There's no guarantee there because they had the over 65 exemption and it stays low. That'll help you on your cash flow. I like houses not in the 100-year floodplain, but flood. I like them. I carry flood insurance on them. Okay? Duplexes and fourplexes do well. The best cash flowing house you will ever buy is a 4-bedroom brick in the hood, in the city. No mud tax, and you put it on housing. That is the best cash flowing house you will ever buy. It may not appreciate like a lot of houses that you want, but it's the best cash flowing house you will ever buy. 4-bedroom brick. Newer homes, maintenance, less of a headache. All right. Let's take a little quiz here. Got a house. ARV is 250. Our all-in number is 210. That'd be reasonable, wouldn't it? Be reasonable. You bought it at a discount, got a little bit of discount, you got it all fixed up. You get yourself a 30-year note called a DSCR loan. That's for investors with a 680 credit score that do not have to show their income. We close them all day long. 680 credit score, don't show your income. That was the loan we were 4.5, 5 in 2 years ago. Now we're 8. About 8%, 8.5. So what's our appreciation average over the long haul in Houston? Don't use 2019, 20, and 21. We were hitting 17, 18 a year. What is it now? What is it average? We could argue. Let's just pick 4.5. Does anybody have a problem with that? You could argue with me for 3. You could argue with me for 6. It's all, hey, Morad, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Saw you in the back. 4.5 fair? Would you say it's overinflated? 4.5 inflated, yes or no? No. It's very low if you look at recent memory. So let's take 4.5. And I'm going to tell you that's probably very low. But I don't want to be pie in the sky here. Let's look at it. What's your equity after 10 years? Right now, you got 40,000 equity. Would you agree? Would you agree with that? You got 40,000 equity day one. You bought a little bit of a discount and fixed it up and rented it. All right. 4.5. At 10 years, that house is $388. You don't believe me? I'm a walking billboard for it. I got over 100 of these damn things, and I've owned most of them a while. Okay? 15 years. Even at 4.5. If you don't believe me, run 3. And that's your principal pay down at 8%. 2 years ago, I was running this chart at 4.5, y'all. And that number was doing what? Dropping quicker or slower? It was dropping slower. But look here, let's do 10 years. You got 40,000 you're starting off with. Now that 250 house is worth 388. Your mortgage is paid down to 166. In 10 years, you got 221,000 equity. And that's a mistake, plus your 40, y'all. I left out the 40 on it. I saw that earlier today when I was looking at it. Okay? 15 years. Do 10 of these. Look what happens. That's the power of appreciation and mortgage paydown. Mainly appreciation. That's the power of it. I hate them, the rent houses. I'll be honest with you, I hate them. My daughter Haley knows I hate them. I cuss them every day. I'm not cashed out, but one day I'm going to. In 19, 20, and 21, we gained, depending on which article you read, ballpark 40 to 44%. The articles are different, 40 to 44% generally over a 3-year period, and I still own them all. I'm going to cash out one day. You're welcome, Haley. You're welcome. Okay, there's a reason, and this may be your most high impact slide all night. There's a reason, y'all, that these companies exist. They figured it out before most of the big boys did. There's a reason these companies exist. Everybody's heard of Blackstone. You know who the biggest on that list is, according to all the articles? Who's the biggest? BlackRock. Invitation Homes. Okay? There is a reason these companies exist. Okay? That's why we're in the rental business, y'all. I hope I have helped someone here tonight. I really do. Thank y'all. What time is it? I'll answer a few questions if you got them. Otherwise, we'll go network. Couple questions if you got them. If not, hey, we'll be back in here next month. Y'all be here. Who's coming back? Right here. What you got? Do you have a question? Oh, good. Okay. I'm networking. You got a question? Catch me over a cold drink. Thank y'all for being here, sir. Thank you very much.